Hey everyone, welcome back to 996 The Howl. We are at the 60 game progress report. There's 22 games left for the Utah Mammoth. Over the past 10 games, the Mammoth went 5 wins, 5 losses, even. And I'm going to try to not let last night's game or last afternoon game against the Chicago Blackhawks really turn and tarnish the vibes of this video. It was a very disgraceful, embarrassing, unacceptable loss by the Mammoth against the Blackhawks. Utah Mammoth were at home. I did love how Turney responded, the players responded. They didn't sugarcoat it. It was unacceptable. It was not appreciative of the fans. The fans didn't deserve that. Everyone just played really awful defensively, just really bad. Turnovers in your own end leading to goals. Power play abysmal. PK was pretty rough. No consistent sustained pressure in the O-zone, but it's a 10-game progress report. It's not a 1-game progress report. So they did win 5 and they did lose 5. Before the Chicago loss, their losses were against elite NHL teams: the Tampa Bay Lightning, Carolina Hurricanes, the Dallas Stars, and the Avalanche. Those are teams battling for the cup, not even the playoffs, the cup. So I was pretty happy with losing to those teams, although that Carolina loss, we're going to circle that one to see how the Mammoth season ends on game 82, because they had a 4-2 lead in that third period, and late in the third, in a minute and a half span, they allowed 3 goals against to not only lose before overtime, but just outright just lose. They were winning 4-2, a minute 30 left in the game. They don't get a point. They don't get 2 points. They get 0. So a big collapse, and we'll see if that bites them in the behind after the season is done. And then the Chicago game, like I already mentioned, losing 4-0, ties their biggest goal deficit of the season. The other time happening against the Montreal Canadiens in Montreal, where they lost 6-2. So let's get into the stats. They're 31, 25, and 4. In absolute points, they're 17th in the whole NHL. In points percentage, they are 19th in the NHL. And this is a team that we all hope makes a playoff. So they got to improve a little bit. 5 wins, 5 losses is okay. It's not good. It's not great. It's not bad. It's their third best progress report behind going 8-1-1 at the 50-game progress report. So that was the last one. And then the 10-game progress report where they went 8-2-0. So this is their best third progress report. So it's in the middle of the road. It's okay. They need to be better. If they won against Chicago, which they should have, it would have been probably better, more positive, higher spirits. Goals for per game is slightly increased or basically stayed the same at 3.17 compared to the 50-game progress report. It's good for 15th in the league. Love this. It's well above 3 goals for per game, which you need to make the playoffs. Goals against per game, 5th in the league. Took a little bit of a dip thanks to that Chicago game, but hovered around the same, or it's the exact same, which we rarely see. But we're at the point of the season where the stats are kind of like sustained. There's no big swings. So that's why you see no change in goals against per game, 5th in the league, and it's well below 3 goals against per game, which is great. Power play, slight increase, about half a percentage point at 15.88. It's 28th in the league. It's still bad. They're scoring maybe sort of more consistently than in the past, but it's still bad. They could use some power play goals to grab some points in most games. They're penalty killing. Now I gotta say it's just as bad as the power play. The PK was 70% in the past 10 games, going 26 for 37. So allowing 11 power play goals against in the past 10 games. That's on average 1 power play goal against per game. That's bad. That's abysmal. The special teams are totally bad. Pretty much tanking their season. If they do miss the playoffs, it's all about special teams. I don't know what they're doing with their special team coaches. They have to know both are bad. The power play was slightly good the past 10 games, 5 for 28, which is good for 18%, which is better than their season average. It's starting to get a little bit better, but still, like I already mentioned about the power play. But yeah, the PK, it's showing a lot of cracks. It started to happen at the turn of the calendar year, which is ironic because that's when the team started to play much better. So, I mean, 5-on-5, they're such a great team, amazing team, but their special teams are just really hurting them. And they need to change the PK units. I believe it's been the same units the whole season, and they were amazing until about January. That's why they kept the unit together, but they got to start making some changes. And I know it's so late in the season to make changes, but these special teams really do need some work. Save percentage, slight increase. It's league average goaltending, which is great. It's being led pretty much all by Vemelka since he played 9 of the 10 games. Vanacek only playing like 1 game every 10 games. So save percentage, 893, up from 891 at the 50 game mark. Shooting percentage, still increasing at almost 11.5%. It's been increasing slowly since January 1st. Shots on goal per game it's been decreasing pretty much since game number 10, which I was so enamored and loved the Utah Mammoth, how they were shooting more, and the gap between their shots on goal for to their shots on goal against was so big. It was like 5 shots separating both. Now it's like shrinking every progress report. You can see here it's almost at a 3 shot. Now I ruined that. It was like at a 3 shot gap. Now we're at a 1.9 shot gap. So it's shrinking, which I don't like, and is raising some alarms. But at least their shots on goal against per game is 5th in the league, which is good. But it's at 26 shots against per game. Face-off slightly increasing every progress report. It's now at 19, almost at 50%. It seems like they're being much better at face-offs recently, so kudos to them. It might decrease now that Logan Cooley is back in the lineup. Hopefully he improves on his face-off draws, and hits per game, a slight decrease. It's good for 24th in the league. Now we go to individual players, led by Clayton Keller, gold medalist who won a gold medal in the past 10 games. I know the Olympic break sort of broke up this progress report, but he's nearing a point per game pace, which is what we expect from Clayton Keller. He's got 58 points in 60 games played. Close second is Schmaltz at 55 points in 60 games played. Nick Schmaltz has tied a career high in goals, so that's great to see by Nick Schmaltz. We're only at game 60, and he's scored the most he has in his career. And it's a contract year. I've been saying it all. You got to re-sign Schmaltz. But at the end of the day, us fans, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. And if Bill Armstrong knows Schmaltz is not signing, I don't know. It's a tough position to be in for Bill Armstrong, and the trade deadline is this Friday. Schmaltz is second on the team in goals at 23. Dylan Guenther has also tied his career high in goals in about 12 less games played. You love to see that. This guy's had such an amazing goal pace per game in his career, and he continues to eclipse it season after season. So he leads the team with 27 goals of the season. He's got 49 points. Sergachev, 41 points in 60 games. Sergachev had tied Keller with the most points in the past 10 games. So Sergachev had 9 points along with Keller in the past 10 games. Love to see that by Sergachev. We need someone on the defense to contribute offensive consistently. And it's good that Sergachev is hitting the score sheet more often than not. And then rounding it out is Peterka, 20 goals on the season. He only had 5 points in the past 10 games. I need more out of Peterka. It could be his line mates. I mean, against Chicago, Minnesota Avalanche, he was paired with Hayden and Yamamoto. Maybe at the trade deadline, we could get him a better winger. Some people would say get him a better centerman. We'll see. Still don't like how we deploy Peterka. Feel like we're not using him well, and feel like he's not hitting his ceiling or his peak just yet with Utah. There's a lot of room for improvement. Some other good players. Dursey had 7 points in the past 10 games, surprisingly, because most games I'm sitting there saying, what does he even do? Like, Sean Dursey is supposed to be an offensive defenseman, puck-moving defenseman, but I feel like most games he's not contributing offensively. We really need him to step up offensively, but he does have 7 points in the past 10 games, so maybe that's my eye test being pretty bad, but hopefully he maintains this point pace moving forward to the end of the season. Gunther missed 2 games, so he had 6 points in the past 8 games in the last 10 games, so that's good for Dylan Gunther. McBain had 6 points in the past 10 games. It's above 5, which I like, so good for McBain. I already mentioned Peterka, 5 points in the past 10 games. Krause, 5 points in the past 10 games. A bit low, but he was playing pretty awesome after the break. And he has 13 more points than last season in 22 less games played. So he is having that bounce back year that I hoped for in the offseason, and what he hoped for in the offseason as well. And the whole organization hoped he would bounce back, and he has bounced back. Not to harp on Krause. I know I said he only had 5 points the past 10 games, but I really liked how he's been playing the past 3 games after the break. And Carcone, 4 points in the past 10 games. I missed Hayden Yamamoto had 8 points in the past 10 games. So good for Yamamoto, good for Hayden. They need to contribute offensively as well. Schmaltz had 9 points, and I made a mistake. Sergachev only had 8 points, not 9 points in the past 10 games. Then we go to goalies. Vejmelka, like I already said, played 9 out of the 10 games. His win-loss record is incredible, 28, 16, and 2. He finally hit the 900 save percentage mark on the season. It took a little bit of a hit, a big hit for that game against Chicago, and a 2.63 goals against average. Vanacek played 1 game, which was a win against Florida, and he stood on his head in that game. I don't really think Utah deserved to win that game, but you can't be deserved to win them all. Sometimes you got to eke out some points, and they did just that against the Panthers. They're heading out on a 5-game road trip, their last big road trip of the season. They go out east, they face Washington, Philadelphia, Columbus, and then they round it out with some Western Conference teams in Chicago and Minnesota. They face Chicago like 3 times in a span of like 10 days. So they play Chicago on the road and then again back at home next week. So they're going to be familiar with Chicago. They need to win both those games against Chicago. If they do, I could kind of forgive them for this loss, because I would have expected you can't win all 3 against Chicago. Like, even though you should, just in terms of how hockey is, you probably win 2 of those. So they got to bounce back against Chicago against those 2 games against the Blackhawks. And this 5-game road trip, for me, you got to go 3-2, at least above NHL 500. Try to maintain that buffer of the playoffs, and then pick up more points at home. They did really drop the ball their last home game against Chicago yesterday. They needed 2 points to help them on the road. But some people might say they got to go 4-1 on this 5-game road trip, which is fair. I don't think that's possible, and I'm not going to set my expectations that high, even though they probably should go 4-1 if they're serious about a playoff berth. But knowing this team, they're not going to make it easy. It's going to be a battle throughout the whole season. So I do expect a 3-2 record. So that's it for me. Thanks for watching. If you like what you see, spread the word. And as always, thank you for your support.